Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. It's been a long time since we sat in Shake and Bake and had a little bit of a discussion. But as you've seen on that thumbnail, we're having issues. And these are strace car, hashtag strace car issues, right? So again, when you're getting into this horsepower, you're getting up into this many modifications in Shake and Bake, or if you want to go this far with your car, keep in mind there's going to be a lot of things that go wrong. There's going to be a lot of little things that go wrong, and you just gotta push through it. You've seen a lot of little things with Shake and Bake. Arguably, I can't film everything that happens with Shake and Bake. I probably catch 75 to 85% of the things that go wrong with Shake and Bake, but there's that 15 to 25% that I don't catch, that you guys don't see, that I'm fixing and just not videoing. One, it's either probably not very interesting, it's super small, and it's a somewhat quick fix, or I just don't have a camera at the time when I'm doing it. So I just want you to keep in mind that when you get into this level of modification, things are going to happen, things are going to go wrong, things are going to break, you're going to have to fix them. The way parts are going nowadays, you're going to have to wait for parts. So for those of you guys that are on the vlog every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, you've heard me say this hundreds of times. It takes money, time, and patience. Those are the three factors on modifying your car into, you know, the strace car level, excuse me. Now if you're staying in the NA level, don't get me wrong, there's still things going to go wrong, but there's less things that can go wrong when you're talking about an NA build versus a supercharger build, and not only a supercharger build, but pushing it to the limits. And that's really what we're doing with Shake and Bake, is we are pushing the limits of the 5.7. And we're making quite a bit of power. Don't get me wrong, we're making quite a bit of power. But again, we're at the point where we're having issues. Some of you guys have seen Mac's IG story. They kind of really outlines big picture view, and that's what I'm going to do, big picture view, because this is getting into a little bit more technical stuff than I am familiar with. So I'm going to pretty much somewhat regurgitate what he said, maybe add a little bit. But again, I've said this on many a video, many a Wednesday night. I am not a mechanic, I am not an engine builder, and I'm not a tuner. So I'm just Joe Schmuckatelli learning. I've learned a lot, learning, you know, as I go. But I'm just Joe Schmuckatelli, modifying his car, pushing things to the limits, modifying his car, and probably I'm getting a little bit better at doing some of my own wrenching on Shake and Bake. But, you know, 85 to 90% of the work that's done to Shake and Bake is either done by Mike Starck at Starck Performance and Maintenance. Plug for Mike for Mike in his shop. You know, if you're in the DMV area, Mike Starck is a good place to go. Starck's Performance and Maintenance. Keep that in mind. And Dave does all the tuning. So, like I said, I do some wrenching on some little things, but anything major, like the thing we're going to talk about now, that I leave that up to Mac, and I leave that up to Starck's Performance and Maintenance. But where we're at, while I was on vacation, some of y'all heard this on Wednesday night. While I was on vacation, I keep plugging the Wednesday night, be there, 9 o'clock Eastern. But while I was going on vacation, I took the car to Mac and Dave, and they were supposed to dial the car in to be ready for the Modern Street Hemi Shootout. And we'll talk about the Modern Street Hemi Shootout come Wednesday night as well. But that was the plan, to have the car ready for the Modern Street Hemi Shootout. And then we had a call out on another 5.7 that has a ProCharger build. and you know, we're kind of competition with each other, friendly competition with each other. But that was the plan. So when I dropped it off with him, and they were doing some street pulls, the cam started doing funky things again. So if you go back to the last dyno video, you'll see we were having some of these cam flip-flopping issues. So on the dyno, what we did is we replaced the VVT solenoid right on the front of the intake manifold, right underneath the front of the intake manifold. So we replaced that. Dave did 5 or 6 pulls. Everything was fine. So we're good to go. Fast forward, I go to Cecil County. I make a non-ice run. Everything is great. I do the ice run. You can go back and see that video. We hit the limiter. And that's when I said, hey, can you guys dial this thing in? Because when I hit the ice, it done some funky things. So that was the plan, to dial in the car. Now it's back to doing that flip-flop thing. And not only is it flip-flopping the cam, it's also messing with the boost. The boost is bouncing around, and it's also messing with the AFR, which is never a good thing when your air-fuel ratio is getting messed with. So it bounces around back and forth. So long story short, we went through everything. Phaser, we put a new phaser when we put the new engine together. That's a new phaser, new timing, everything, so that was a new phaser. I almost forgot I did that. And when I talked to MMX about this cam, they said to limit the cam, not lock it. So we put the limiter back in from the old setup, because the 270 was limited as well. So we put it into this one to limit the swing. So we don't think it's the solenoid. We don't think it's the wiring. We don't think it's the phaser. We don't think it's the limiter. We think it's the cam. So what we have done is Mac has ordered one of his custom grind cams. I lost you. You guys fell off. Hang on one sec. Let me put you guys back up here. Sorry about that. Oh gosh, these suction cups, sometimes they get a little wonky. But Mac ordered up a custom grind cam from him that is designed to be locked in a certain position. So now we no longer have to worry about VVT because we're locking the cam. And we think that's the problem, is the VVT. Between the VVT and the cam, it was just acting funky. So we think it's not necessarily the cam, but it's the cam on my setup is what we think is the problem. So ordered a new cam. We're gonna get a phase locker to lock out the cam, lock out VVT, and hopefully, cross our fingers, that will fix our problems. So that's where Shake and Bake's been. That's why I haven't done any videos for a while. She's been acting a little funky, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna get her back to the track. You know, we ordered it last Wednesday. Could take week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get the cam. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the cam, but then we'll be back in action. So another small thing that happened with Shake and Bake when I was at Max, he found out the toe on the rear tires was off, and it was burning up the inside of both tires. So we're gonna fix that too. We're gonna get some shims to put in the AAD suspension stuff, and I ordered the adjustable toe arms, rear toe arms for the car as well. So that's another thing that was putting us on edge. Was we couldn't dial in the suspension. So once we get these toe arms in, we'll be able to dial in the suspension. And then the last thing, and this is real, well, semi-little, it took us about an hour to get it off, is one of the lug nuts from the Race Stars just totally stripped out. It would not come off. So we had to drill through the lug nut, drill through the stud itself, wheel stud itself, to pull that wheel off, change my tires back to street tires, and drive home from Stafford, or from Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg, Stafford is kind of where they're on that line. But so that's where I've been. That's where Shake and Bake is at. We're waiting on a cam, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it Wednesday night. This Wednesday night is 17th, 18th of December, 9 p.m. Eastern. I do a live every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, every Wednesday. But that's where we're at. That's where we're going. We're just waiting on parts at this point. So that's going to do it for this one, folks. If you're stopping in for the first time, please check out the rest of the channel. If you like what's going on with the rest of the channel, do me them few things. Like, subscribe, smash the bell, shoot me a comment, share it on social media. I'll definitely appreciate it. Shake and Bake will definitely appreciate it, because every red penny from YouTube goes right back into Shake and Bake. That's it for this one, folks. Till next time, adios.